all-knowing and all-powerful, starting with the elderly wolf uncle chapter 114. A golden arc flashed on his body. The next instant, phew, the thing in his hand fell to the ground, and he himself was wrapped in an endless golden arc, turning into an afterimage that ordinary people could not catch at all, and rushed straight out in the direction where the explosion came. Keep an eye on Barry. Alan's Xianxia, because he has super speed and his reaction power is also beyond ordinary people, so he still rushes out of the former's figure, looking at the bottom of his eyes. But can see Barry, who can see and see, but bursts out with divine speed. Alan, falling in Xianxia's eyes, did not know where to go. There was still an afterimage. This means that the speed of the Flash is much faster than Xianxia now. I'm looking forward to the power of Godspeed more and more. Xianxia was not surprised by this. The divine speed force would soon be copied by him, naturally the stronger the better. But now that his goal has appeared, he naturally can't stay where he is. Immediately, everyone else in the hall panicked and shouted. Xianxia also quietly retreated to a corner where no one noticed. His control stance distorted the light, and his figure gradually became transparent and disappeared in the eyes of ordinary people. Subsequently, phew, the people in the hall of the museum felt a strong wind blowing in the museum. Everyone was even more shocked for a while, thinking that there had been another explosion at the scene. And they were afraid that they would be affected and squatted down holding their heads in pieces. However, after a while, it was found that they were safe and sound. Could it be that there is a problem with the air conditioning in the museum? For a while, some people couldn't help but question. And many more people are worried, and there are one explosion after another in the city, and they don't know if there will be casualties. Meanwhile, on the street a few blocks away from the Lightning Museum, rumble, rumble, violent eruptions are still happening. One after another, gun smoke is everywhere. Countless buildings shattered into huge craters in the firelight, and large pieces of building debris splashed out in all directions. The whole street was frightened and ran around holding their heads. Rumble. This is a tall building that has already exploded once before, and the middle section of a tall building that already has a huge gap has exploded again. A huge amount of concrete, glass, and steel was splashed all over the place, and at the same time, the building could no longer be supported. And the upper half of the explosion site was already smashing towards the crowd on the road. Meanwhile, there are also many people in this smashed building. When it lands, I am afraid that it will affect at least hundreds of thousands of people. On the streets, in the tall buildings, all those who avoided it were already desperate and screamed bitterly. Phew, right at that time, a burst of brilliant golden brilliance flashed by. On those streets, the crowds that were already obviously unable to avoid disappeared in an instant. Another moment, Barry, Alan had just moved all the people from the street to a safe area. The golden lightning flashed continuously. The divine speed force was once again urged. Phew. He once again rushed towards the building that had been blown up and the first half smashed into the ground at a speed close to the speed of light. At the moment, in Alan's eyes, everything that happened was like being pressed to play a movie 1,000 times slower, and all the movement froze. The next instant, he accelerated again, stepped on the flying rubble in the air, and rushed into the half-cut building that had smashed into the ground. Golden brilliance shines through the entire building. The people inside the building, who were more desperate than everyone else, only felt that their eyes were blazed. When he came back to his senses, he found himself in a park 2 streets away from the explosion. Are you all right? Less than 3 seconds had passed since the explosion, when the building was about to topple, and hundreds of nearly 1,000 people were all moved to a safe area 2 streets away. Rumble. At this moment, everyone in the park felt a tremor on the ground, raised their heads, and saw 2 streets away, raising a stormy fog. Immediately, it was the sound of the building falling to the ground just now. It's the Flash. As long as he can do it. The Flash saved us. There are people who quickly return to God after experiencing life and death, and immediately think of the truth. Xianxia, who was invisible on the other side, was belated. Gee, now I'm still far from keeping up with the Flash's speed. He looked at the already empty street in front of him and couldn't help but sigh. Now Xianxia can't keep up with the Flash's footsteps at all. Phew, this is the horizon, and a narrow golden lightning bolt has resurfaced. Xianxia narrowed his eyes. This is the Flash deliberately slowing down his speed. The golden lightning on the horizon is just golden lightning in the eyes of ordinary people, but when it falls into Xianxia's eyes, he can clearly see the figure of the Flash. You know, when the Flash burst out at full speed before, even when he looked over, there were afterimages. I didn't expect that this guy of the Flash, in addition to protecting the lives and safety of the people in Central City, would also treat their psychology. Xianxia couldn't help but smile when he thought of this. Barry, Aaron deliberately exposed his posture after saving those people. It's all about reassuring victims who have been in danger and telling them that you're okay with me. Right then, the Flash, thank you, thank you. Xianxia heard that in the park 2 blocks away, those survivors saw the golden lightning that appeared on the horizon. And they all began to shout the name of the Flashpoint. Oh, they were cheering for the Flash, and their faces were all excited. When Xianxia saw this scene, the smile on his face became even stronger. In Central City, the Flash will indeed be welcomed. Subsequently, he was ready to start moving towards the location where the Flash was in the distance, close to the past. After all, Xianxia's copying ability could only be useful when he was close to the copying party. At least in a range where fluctuations in the opponent's abilities can be felt. However, Xianxia hadn't had time to leave yet. Those in the safe zone, the cheers for the Flash suddenly stopped. Phew, I saw that golden lightning on the horizon suddenly stopped. Then, a dark blue electric light actually flashed at an incredible speed over an extremely long distance. Rumble. The dark blue electric light was menacing, and it actually directly knocked the Flash out tens of meters away. The latter could not react at all and slammed into a wall. Dense cracks spread out on that wall in an instant, and smoke and dust rose everywhere. Is that guy just now also the owner of the Divine Speed Force? No wonder there is so much hostility towards the Flash. Chen Tian watched this scene from a distance and felt a little surprised. It seems that in this universe, 2 god speed powerers have now appeared. Then his gaze fell on the Flash, who was slightly embarrassed when he hit the wall, and suddenly thought of a sentence. I'm Barry Allen, the fastest man in the world, yet, every season there will be someone faster than me. Now Barry Aaron meets the new owner of the Godspeed Force. Judging from his confused situation, this guy obviously doesn't know anything about this, and it is estimated that it is the first time he has encountered other divine speed powers. Chen Tian looked at Barry Allen showed and made such a judgment.